Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. All right, I have Arch Crawford, an old pal of mine from years ago. He is a publisher of a markets-related newsletter, Crawford Perspectives. He has an amazing career that spans in many different genres of Wall Street. He has been on multiple financial shows, has correctly predicted several market crashes to the day, if I might add. Arch, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being here.
Delighted to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Now, you have been in this industry sector for what? Are we closing in on about 50 years or so, or maybe a little bit longer?
Well, I started watching the market when I was 13, and that was late December of 1954.
Got it, yes.
I went to work for Merrill Lynch in Raleigh in 1960.
1960? 61. Okay, so let's call it 57 years. That's enough to get a little experience. All right, I want to get into your market. You use astrology and technical analysis to give you your forecasts of what you think a variety of markets are going to do, whether it's gold, it's oil, it's Bitcoin, it's a stock market, it's bonds, things of that nature. And I'm sure you do individual stocks too. Let's start the litany of things that you see coming up in the near future that you think that we should be aware of and prepare for.
Well, actually in this current letter, the June letter, I'm talking about a great deal of Mars activity in the latter part of this month. It's actually starting about today, and it takes one hit per day for the next few days. And then around the 17th to the 21st, it becomes extremely vicious. And I'm saying there'll be terrorist activity or violence or possibly even outright war. And so that's the big deal that I'm talking about right now, and that's pretty unusual. I have made some predictions like 9/11 and Diana's death and Kobe earthquake, that were all exact to the day. So I'm worried about the latter half of this month, and I assume that might bring the market down a little bit, but I believe the high of the year for the market will be the first week of September, give or take Labor Day, plus or minus a couple of weeks.
Okay, so this pullback that we could be experiencing in June is a buying dip. Obviously, you have to be careful about how far down the dip is because it can get pretty violent. I'm getting this, that you see that the trigger point is going to be caused by some sort of terrorism and that leads to war, or is it just conjuncting other events that are engaging in war?
Well, all I'm clear about is that there'll be a great deal of violence. We had a somewhat similar situation in 1990, and I wrote that there would be coercion, the use of force, a large explosion, and heartlessness or cruelty, August the 2nd to the 7th of 1990. And on August the 2nd, surprisingly and unknown, Saddam Hussein attacked Kuwait, and he created the biggest problem in the world with the
invasion of Kuwait,
setting fire to the oil of Kuwait, and a whole lot of people had to go there at the end of that to help put the fires out. It was an amazing situation.
Now, in your newsletter,
it's happened in the ecology.
In your newsletter on July 2nd, we have a solar eclipse, and I've studied this enough to know that there is a path that sometimes things occur on the path of the solar eclipse. Are you seeing anything that may be an after effect on the path of the solar eclipse?
I actually have not checked the path of it, but that is something that you have to be concerned about, and also the exact opposite positions of the path, and sometimes the quarter positions from the path. I remember there was a big solar eclipse that went all the way across Russia, and 2 or 3 days later there was a Mars square to Uranus, and that is a picture of violence. And they attacked the country of Georgia on that Mars Uranus square after it had gone all the way across their own country. Fortunately, we didn't have anything like that with the one that went all the way across the United States was not followed by immediate violence, which fortunate for us.
Yes, definitely. All right. Now, in your processes of coming up with what's going to happen here, I think you said it was June 7th through the 19th, right? For this,
Well,
the war,
we're having like one a day from like right now, starting today,
right?
almost every day. And then the 17th to the 21st is a big pileup of them. And I would think if we don't see anything in that period, it would be surprising. And then there's a little bit more of a hit around the 23rd, 25th.
Got it. All right. Here's my question. On the in markets that are connected with what's going on, we've been seeing a nice little rally in the gold market. Where are you seeing potential market reaction to these events, these violent events, war, terrorism, things of that nature? We've seen the gold market move, but we haven't seen a big move in the oil market. We haven't seen a huge a big move in the stock market. What do you think is going to happen with this this violence between the 17th and 21st, or
Well,
the
the one thing
27th?
that I've noticed in the last couple of trading days is that the wartime stocks have actually picked up a little bit the last 2 or 3 trading days.
Okay, so you think that that's a tip-off?
A tip off for the positive for that group, yes.
Okay, all right. Do you see which markets are you looking at that may have a negative effect with this?
Well, the general thing is that when the United States goes to war, now I'm not sure that it's going to involve the United States, but it does hit the chart of the president, the horoscope of the president. So that increases the possibility that we'll be involved in whatever goes down. But it is not so easy to tell who's going to be involved. I mean, it was Saddam Hussein, so it was the other one was is not a big deal for us until we actually went into the Middle East 3 or 4 months later. I think it was January of '91.
Now, what you've been talking about Bitcoin a little bit. Do you see that the world is going to be beating a path in a bigger scale to Bitcoin because of fear of banking issues that are connected to potential shutdowns like we've seen in the past, based off of war and violence, things of that nature?
Well, I suspect that it is taking on a quality that is similar to the gold and silver in that they go up when there's banking problems. And Bitcoin has also been following that sort of a path. Oddly enough, in December of 17, I had predicted that there would be the tops in several different markets around the 2nd of December and around the 17th of December. And I didn't notice at the time that the 17th of December was a Sunday. Well, Bitcoin topped on that day. That was the absolute high forever so far. But the action recently in the last month has been much, much better after the total decline took place without any higher high from a recent high.
Mm-hmm.
There were no bounces that superseded the previous bounce. And that's really nasty technical action. So a month ago, or 2 months ago, it started breaking up for the first time. I had said in the letter, hey, what we need to see in the Bitcoin is some activity. We need to see some higher highs. We need to see some volume on the upside. And all of a sudden it took off right after that. So it's broken the levels that I wanted to see broken. I think it was about 4,400 and then 7,600, and it broke both of them in the same week. So I'm a little more positive on the Bitcoin these days. The gold looks like it's pulling back a little bit here. I wouldn't expect too much on the downside, but I wouldn't be surprised to see any 3 or 4 days down. But I think both the gold, the silver, and the Bitcoin will have some more very definite and clear action by the end of this month.
Got it. All right, Arch, we've got to go, but I want to thank you for being my guest on today's show, and I want to have you on the show more often because I've just enjoyed so much, not only just knowing you, but actually the reading of that newsletter that you send out, and these dates you put in it are invaluable in my opinion.
And I just want to make the point that I was an analyst at Merrill Lynch in the technical department when an article came out on the front page of the Wall Street Journal mentioning all the people in Wall Street who were using astrology. So I went and met all of them, and that's how I got interested.
Yeah.
But I'm the first person who actually calculated percent changes in the Dow versus several astronomic related positions and aspects to each other.
I have learned so much from you. Thanks for being the guest today, Arch. Appreciate it.
Pleasure, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, you've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.